welcome in to the KO Brothers DFS podcast. As you can see, there's only one of us here today. I am one half of the KO Brothers, Michael, with you here today. Jonathan can't make it. He's a little under the weather. He's sick at the moment right now. Just going to put out a quick podcast. This is for the Thanksgiving Day slate. Just the 3 games on Thanksgiving. Figure I'll put out a little mini podcast to help your viewers out there try to smash this Thanksgiving Day slate. Once again, just a shout out to Jared Merrill. This is the last chance, unfortunately, for you to contact me about the jersey. Haven't heard anything from you yet, so please, Jared Merrill, either in the comments section or under our email, kobrothers2018 at gmail.com. Please contact us so we can get that jersey out to you. All right. Jumping on in, I'm gonna start at the quarterback position. As far as cash goes, I mean, you got Breeze, you got Matt Ryan. What else is there to go? Breeze 6,700, Matt Ryan 6,100, and on FanDuel they're 9,000 for Breeze, 86 for Matt Ryan. You know, Atlanta horrible defense, New Orleans horrible defense. I think it's definitely a shootout game. I think you can't go wrong with that in cash. You want to pay up for quarterback, Breeze, Ryan, perfect. Dak, I like him as well. I'm not a fan of Trubisky. Trubisky is injured, and I definitely would stay away from Colt McCoy. You have no idea what he's going to bring. But Dak, if you want to pay down for quarterback, you want to pay up Breeze and Matt Ryan. I mean, what is there else to say? I mean, you got the best quarterback in the league, Drew Brees, completing 71% of his passes. So, Matt Ryan, he's having a great year as well. Now in GPP, that's for cash. Now in GPPs, I do think Stafford is a very sneaky play at 6,800 and 5,300 on DraftKings, 68 on FanDuel. I think he's pretty sneaky. He hasn't had a very good season so far, but he's going to be low-owned in tournaments, so I know it's tight. It's tight as it is. It's a short slate, only 3 games. It's tight to win those tournaments, so I do think Stafford's got some sneaky upside. And Ryan, if you're going to pay up in a GPP, you go with Ryan over Breeze because everybody's going to have Drew Brees. So it's just a little way to differentiate yourself in GPPs if you want to go Matt Ryan, if you want to pay up the quarterback. All right, moving on, we're going to move on to the running back position. Now, the way I attack the running back position this week is I kind of split it. I got one high-priced guy and one low-priced guy. Now, the high-priced guys, I mean, Elliott, Kamara, Ingram, take your pick. I do think Kamara's obviously the best play. He's the best running back on the board. You know, he's at home. Atlanta, like I said, they're just terrible defense overall. But I do think if you want, in cash, you can stack the two. If you want to stack Kamara and Ingram, I mean, they're both right around 20 points. Kamara's just above averaging 20, and Ingram's just below 20. They are priced similar. Oh, actually, wow. Kamara's 83 on DraftKings and 89 on FanDuel. Ingram's 74 on FanDuel and 61 on DraftKings. Elliott's 86 and 87 on FanDuel. So in cash, like I said, I'm splitting it. I would split Kamara, and I'd go Riddick. I do think Riddick's got some sneaky upside. That's where I'm going to go for my pay down. It's going to be Theo Riddick. I think he's going to get 7 targets in this game. No Kerryon Johnson. Got a banged-up Marvin Jones. So I do think Riddick is going to be in every one of my lineups. Whether I'm playing GPP or cash, I'm smashing Riddick in that lineup because it allows me to do what I'm going to tell you what I do at receiver, and I'm getting all those guys at receiver. So I am trying to save money wherever I go on this slate because I think Julio and Michael Thomas, that is a pair you can't beat in cash. But I do have some value at receiver if you'd like to pay down. So if you want to pay up for running back, personally, Kamara, Zeke, Ingram, I would grab just one of them, pair them up with Riddick or even Tevin Coleman. I know Tevin Coleman, it is a bad matchup on paper, but he does catch the ball out of the backfield. He's having a pretty good year. He's by himself in the backfield. you know, so I would stay away from Adrian Peterson. If Thompson does play, I think it's a real long shot. But if he plays, I would definitely smash him in my lineups too. If he actually plays, I would probably pair up Thompson and Riddick and just fade the running backs altogether and load it up on wide receiver. But however, if you do want to stack Kamara and Ingram, that's also not a bad strategy in GPPs or in cash because they are on the same team. But like I said, they're both around 20 points. They both have scored 20 points in a game before together, So it's not a bad strategy. So if you want to, like I said, I would split it, save some value. But if you want to pay up and take two of them, Kamara and Ingram, Kamara and Zeke, I got some value wide receiver for you. Let's move on to wide receiver. And before we move on, GPP. If you're playing GPPs, I do think that your GPP running backs would be Zeke and Coleman. Now, the reason why I say Zeke, because out of the three high-priced running backs, I do think Zeke's going to go lower owned than the rest of them. I think Kamara's going to be the highest running back on the slate. And Coleman, like I said, he's in a bad matchup, so people are going to tend to, fade that running back because they're going up against the New Orleans, and I think it's a mistake. So I do think Coleman does have a decent game. So, if you're a GPP player out there, Coleman is your smash GPP play. So let's move on to wide receiver. Like I said, I'm going to split it, and I'm going to go 1-1 with the running backs because in my receiver, I'm stacking Julio Jones and Michael Thomas. I am going to try every way I can to get them in, whether I'm playing on FanDuel or DraftKings. On FanDuel, they're both the same price. They're $8,800. On DraftKings, Michael Thomas is $89 and Julio Jones is $83. Don't care. I am going to try to get them in my lineup at all costs. Julio Jones, 4 of the last 5 games, he's had 20 points. He's had 3 straight games with a touchdown and 5 straight 100-yard games. I mean, he's just a beast. Michael Thomas, 92% catch rate. He's had 4 touchdowns in the last 3 games. I mean, these are the 2 out of the, top 5 wide receivers in the NFL. There's not much to say about them, but I am definitely trying to get both of them in my cash lineups. Now, as far as GPP goes for these 2 high-priced guys, I'm going Julio if I'm going GPPs because out of the 2, Julio will be lower owned. Like I said, they're both going to have great games, so Julio's more your GPP wide receiver because he is going to be lower owned. As far as the mid-price guys go, I'm kind of fading Kenny Galladay. Chicago's a tough defense, and Galladay is more of that deep threat. So I don't think Stafford's going to have the time. Like I said, he is a sneaky GPP play. Now in GPPs, if you want to stack Stafford and Galladay, awesome. No one's going to have it, and if that hits, you're going to get that money. But in cash, outside of the 2 top guys I'm pairing, I'm actually putting Sanu in that 3rd wide receiver spot. He is $5,300 on FanDuel and $4,500 on DraftKings. I do think he's got some sneaky upside. He's had 20 targets in the last 3 games. Like I said, this has got shootout written all over it. I mean, look what the Rams and KC just did, 54-51. I mean, that's crazy. I don't see the game going that high, the total, but these are 2 fantastic offenses with a ton of playmakers and 2 terrible defenses. Yes, the Saints looked amazing against the Eagles last week, only giving up 7 points. But if you watch that game, Carson Wentz looked lost. Now, I don't know if that's the defense or that's just Carson Wentz having a so-so season. I mean, I do lean more towards Wentz having a so-so season. I mean, we'll see. We'll see this week. New Orleans, sneaky defense in GPPs. No one's going to own them. So if they are legit, it's a way to differentiate your defense and a way to capitalize the upside if it happens. I don't think so. Like I said, I think it's going to be a shootout, high-scoring game. So Sanu, I'm going to get in that other 3rd spot for GPPs. Now, if you decide, and let's say you have some money left over, yes, I was on Amari Cooper last week, and he let me down. He let us all down. but he is at home. He still has 23 targets since joining the Cowboys in the last 3 games. And even with his bad game last week, where he only had 5 fantasy points, I believe, he's still averaging double-digit points. He's only 6,500 on FanDuel, and 5,700 on DraftKings. So he's still relatively cheap. If you don't want to go Julio, Michael Thomas, or let's say you do want to pair up, if you do want to pair up Kamara and Mark Ingram, and you want to get some value at wide receiver, Sanu, Cooper, Ridley, if you want to fade Julio Jones and Michael Thomas, and maybe you want to go Ridley and Traquan Smith. Traquan Smith, back-to-back games with a touchdown. So if you want to fade those 2 high-priced guys and jump on Ridley, Traquan Smith, and Amari Cooper, if you want to go that route, that's definitely a good route in cash. Like you said, you can go either way. There are a couple different strategies. You kind of got to, feel worse for you. Me personally, I'd probably make a couple teams. I'm probably going to make a team that has 2 high-priced running backs and 2 high-priced receivers. Like I said, personally, I'm leaning more towards stacking Thomas and Julio, and then I'm going to work from there. I'm going to try to squeeze in Kamara, but if I can, Riddick's definitely in that lineup no matter what. Now, if you are looking to save some money, let's say you want to try to get as many want to try to get as many stars in as you can, obviously. But my saver pick, and it was a little early for that segment, I will say it again, but Taylor Gabriel, 5,100 on FanDuel, and I'm pretty sure it's like close to min salary on DraftKings, 3,700 on DraftKings. He's got some sneaky upside. I do think they're going to have to get the ball out quick against Detroit. They did look good, but Slay is going to not shut down, but limit Allen Robinson. So I do think that opens it up for Gabriel a little more. Now, I don't know if it's a Cohen game or a Howard game. If I had to pick one, I'd lean more towards Howard because of Detroit's defense. Not a very good rush defense. So, all that lining up for Gabriel to have a nice game. I do think he can. And with him being so cheap, why not? Why not the dart throw in cash or GPP? I think that's it. All right. And up GPPs also. Anthony Miller. He's had 3 touchdowns in 4 games. All he does is catch touchdowns, this guy. So he's a little sneaky GPP play if you want to save some money. If you want to combine the 2 Saints running backs or combine Kamara and Zeke in GPP. I mean, Ingram and Zeke. Because Kamara's going to be the chalk. He's going to be the highest owned guy on this slate. Him and Michael Thomas. So, which is a great cash stack, but not for GPPs. So GPPs, Anthony Miller, good way to save some money and get that touchdown upside. All right, to tight end. Now, tight end, me personally, regardless of cash or GPPs, like you all know, I'm more of a cash player, but I will throw in a couple GPP teams, but more of a cash player. Now, regardless, I'm going Rico Gathers. I know Rico Gathers. Oh no, who is this guy? He's starting. Swain, whatever his name is, he's out. He's not playing. So Rico Gathers steps into that starting role, and he's min salary on both sides. So he's so cheap, and I don't like the tight end position. So I'm just going to bottom it out. I'm going to get a starting tight end for min salary and see where it goes, because I really, with the tight end position being the way it is this year, I'm just going to bottom it out. I'm going to try to get as much value as I can out of running back, quarterback, and wide receiver. I'm just going to bottom out the tight end and see what happens. If you are opposed to that, Jordan Reed, he looked healthy. He's going to be the safety blanket for McCoy. It's McCoy's first start this season. He has 17 targets in 2 games and over 50 yards receiving in both of those games. He did look healthy last week, so that is a plus. But you just never know with Jordan Reed. He did look good, so he's a nice cash or GPP play, either one. And if you don't like Reed, you don't like Rico Gathers, Austin Hooper. 19 targets in the last 2 games. Yes, he had a dud. He stays close to the line of scrimmage, but it is going to be a high-scoring game, and he is a red zone threat. He's had 4 red zone targets. So, I don't think that's a bad way to go. The rest of the tight ends, I'm completely off. I mean, Trey Burton is a mess. I don't even know what's going on with that guy. Same with Ben Watson. He's just, they're going to go to the receivers. So you got Reed, Hooper, and like I said, my guy, Rico Gathers, min salary, and that's where I'm going. Defense. On the defense. Okay, so it's the same, just different pricing, but same lineup. So you got the Cowboys, Bears, Redskins, same thing. So the Cowboys and Bears, too high price, $3,200 on DraftKings, and the Bears are $2,900 on FanDuel. I think it's 42 and 37. Cowboys and Bears. Bears are the way to go in cash. I mean, they have double digits in 3 straight games. It was like 14, 15, and like 21. So that's the way to go in cash. Now, if you can afford it, because, they're all on the road, and you never know with Stafford. He is having a bad year, so-so year, but Stafford can light it up at any time, and he generally plays pretty well on Thanksgiving. So if you can afford, it's only a few $100s more on both sites. So if you can afford it, I do think the Cowboys are the way to go. But that is paying up for defense, and people don't usually like to do that. So in cash, Bears is the best play on the board. And like I said, you can't go wrong with the Cowboys. And if you want to save some money and you want to maximize your skill position players, this is what I do. Like, I'm going to max out the tight end with Rico Gathers. I'm going to go for the Saints defense. What if they are legit? What if this is going to be the turning point? I mean, they're not missing that many players from last year, and last year they were a top 6 defense. So could that have been the game that they're going to now get some confidence under the belt and now pivot to being better? I don't know. I don't think it happens against Matt Ryan, but it's a way to save money. Maybe they get a pick or fumble recovery, maybe a few sacks. So that's where I'm going. In GPPs, it's Saints all the way. It's Saints and Cowboys. Bears are going to be the highest priced defense. So if you're playing a tournament, I would try to fade the Bears. But if you don't want to, I get it. I mean, double digits in 3 games. Bears defense is insane this year. Khalil Mack, Thanksgiving, he's going to shine. So those are my defenses. Now, we're going to move on to saver picks. I gave you 2 of them. Theo Riddick and Taylor Gabriel. Those are my saver picks. And my stack attack is, let's see. Alright, so we're going to do a couple stack attacks. Now, if you're in, let's do cash. So if you're in cash, got 3 stacks for you. I'm going to go all out Saints. Drew Brees, Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram, Michael Thomas. All 4 of them in cash. That's 1 stack. The other stack, Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, and Mohamed Sanu. That's cash. I am going to fade Coleman in cash. And my last cash stack, Kamara, Ingram, and Thomas. If you do want to fade Drew Brees and just stack those skill position players, or I do have a lineup with just Kamara and Ingram in it, if you want to just stack the 2 of them together. Those are my cash stacks. Now for GPP stacks, the one and only, I'm sorry to hear it, but it's the Detroit Lions. Stafford, Riddick, and Kenny Galladay. That's my GPP stack. So, good luck. Happy Thanksgiving to all my viewers out there. Get full, get healthy, drink a lot. I will not see you next week, but I'll see you in a couple days for the Sunday slate. Take care, guys. What'd you think? I was leaving? I did say bye, but I just want to tell you one more thing. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Come on, guys. Hit that subscribe button. See you next week!